Hello, a warm welcome to Conny Decorates today. And of course with heart. And with heart involved.
With heart involved with the camera.
Exactly, we are being a bit industrious here today. The weather is nice, or rather very dry. And so we just took a few plants from the garden. I brought out a few old containers from the terrace again and made a little display ourselves. But if you want to know how this DIY tiered stand works, stay tuned because we're going to show you now. And these are the things we need today for our homemade tiered stand. And here we go. Here we have the base, we have various pots. We decided on terracotta pots as we really have quite a few in different sizes and shapes. That's of course wonderful. And it gives a really great natural effect. But you can use any pots you have. You can also use different pots. You can simply try it out for yourself to see what you really like or what holds up well. Then I have some rock garden plants. The saxifrage. I also have these here. I have the obrieta here and we are actually working in the garden right now. I took out a bit of ivy again. And here is a planted box that tipped over due to a small mishap. And it was planted last year. It is here in our garden. I also have succulents in here. I might like to plant them. And there were also stones in there. I will also see if I can use them today. Just like the small stones that we use repeatedly. Exactly. And we don't really need more. Maybe a bit of soil, a little moss or natural things. But I would just say, let's get started. And since we would like to make a stand or a tiered stand ourselves, you can also do it with very nicely with soup plates, soups, or small dessert bowls. That is always wonderful. I think I will start the base here with this larger or with the deep bowl, not deep but wide bowl. Sorry. Then I would take this larger terracotta pot and I think I would use it as the third. I also have some very small pots. I found this one here in the shed as well. It matches quite well with the look here. They have this reddish brown tone, but they are also very, very nice. And I also have this wire basket here, but I will definitely stack the three on top of each other because they are good in height. That means we have room upwards, and then I'll start right away. I will now. Here, you can make a drainage here, but they have holes, which means the water drains well and there is no waterlogging. Shall we just put a bit of protection with moss at the bottom? And then already start filling it up with soil here. And I have another pot here that was also planted, so I'll first use the soil from it, which is still wonderful. I'll put it in here and afterwards we will plant the rock garden anyway. Of course, we'll plant it in our garden. We have a lot in the front right now. Or we have a rock garden there where we have plenty of space to put them in. And here I already have the soil inside. And the soil is in there. And then I'll also check right away where to place the pot. Is the height good? You can also raise it a bit in the middle. You can also just turn the pot upside down into this pot. I'll show you that again briefly before putting the soil in, of course, turn it upside down. Then you can also set it up here later, but I think the height is not necessary here. And it's enough if I just place it in here like this, because then you already have an idea of how much space you have around it. And I would also like to start by placing a small and vibrant ivy in here. And then you can later decorate it nicely, either hanging down or upwards. You can also stick in a few branches to decorate it a bit upwards. So there are many, many possibilities. And for this I am now also using the soil that still falls off from the plants. I meant it from my wooden box because it is also wonderful. And I will of course utilize it in the same way. And now I'm just smoothing out the sides here. And then I'll just see which saxifrage I put in here. I also have these small pots here. Thank you very much. They urgently need to be planted. There is also a lot of root work. They are relatively moist. I'm just going to carefully break it open now and place it here on the side. So I can already see it has become super wet. That is of course not good at all. I hope it recovers here. I hope this one is really still good. I hope the others recover here. They were super wet from the roots. And really be careful that they don't get too wet. I now have my succulent here, which I also took out of the, not pot, but out of the box. There, I break off the old dried twigs and place them here. And on the other side, I'm also placing the other ivy in. Here I also remove the dried leaves a bit, and it can also recover wonderfully here. I will now use the soil again to fill the gaps.
Girl, I see your face everywhere. When I'm going out, you'll be there. 'Cause everything reminds me of you. I can't take no more. Girl, I think I'm losing my mind. Try to go to work, but I lost track of.
Then I have my stones here. They can be used perfectly now. Just place them on top here. Stick them in. And also here. It looks wonderful, of course. You get super stability. I mean, it was already very stable, but this adds, yes, it's a really nice highlight. In the summer, you can also wonderfully add shells or snails later. You can decorate it beautifully later. Also new plants, of course. Now we have the lower level finished for now. Now I will first put some filling in here again. I will now put the soil back in that I still had. It's in there. What I would like to decorate with this wire basket because it adds a little variety here in our tiered stand. Yes, inside, through this mix of materials, and I simply press it in here now. Maybe you also have some chicken wire or perhaps just a bit of floral wire, so you can twist together a rustic little basket and simply place it on top as a small planting bowl as well. Now, I'll just add the remaining soil here. Then I have this white saxifrage here, which can now be wonderfully pressed in here. You can also apply moss from the outside. I think I will do that too. This means you have a pretty good protection. When it rains, the soil can't escape as easily. I can now also take the moss, place it in here, then take the plant and can wonderfully to place it in, really just slightly forward. It doesn't matter at all. Create a small flap with the basket here. And let's just put the last terracotta pot in here. If you don't have a basket or wire mesh to make something like this, then of course just place this pot in the middle. You can put plants around the outside again, and that is of course wonderful. Here I also add a bit of soil again, namely the low saxifrage, and put it in the pot here, and that is wonderful. I initially wanted to use the blue cushion, but it's already relatively large. That will go straight into the garden. And I think with the flowers, the delicate look is also a nice combination. Then I would check if I have a few smaller stones. Of course, you can also take a slightly smaller pot for decoration purposes. Luckily, I still have it right here. You can also put a small succulent in there. And up here I'm placing the native house leek, which we also had in the box. And it wonderfully completes everything at the front here. And I still have these very small pebbles, and I think they work great here. Fill in all the gaps again here between the curve and the pot. And done, we're finished. With just a few plants from the garden, we've quickly replanted and created a small rock garden. Here, the ivy also found a place, a few stones, and that's basically it. And we really hope that we could inspire you a little. maybe we could give you an idea for old containers to spruce them up a bit and decorate them differently. We would be happy to receive a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe for free here on YouTube or follow us on Pinterest, Facebook or Instagram. There will be more stories and pictures coming there as well. Dear ones, feel hugged, stay very healthy. We look forward to decorating with and for you again. I'll just say sunshine in your heart. See you then. Your Conny and your Misha, your cameraman. Exactly, dear ones. See you then. Goodbye. Goodbye.